This lesson is conditional statements, and the goal is to identify hypotheses and conclusions in a conditional statement. What you should understand by the end of this lesson is that you can describe some mathematical relationships using a variety of if-then statements. Here's an example of a conditional statement. A conditional statement is an if-then statement, such as if it rains, then the game will be canceled. The hypothesis is the part that is following the word if. So here's the word if. The hypothesis is it rains. Now remember, in science, a hypothesis is an educated guess. So if it rains, and the conclusion is what will happen if that happens. So the conclusion is the part following the word then. Then the game will be canceled. So our hypothesis is it rains, and the conclusion is the game will be canceled. Now, when you get into some more upper level maths, they use symbols, if P then Q, but we're not going to use that. And if you used a Venn diagram, there's Q and P is inside of it. That's all a conditional statement is an if-then statement. Here's an example of what the problems that you're going to see. What is the hypothesis in this conditional statement? If a number is divisible by 4, then it is even. Remember, a hypothesis comes after the word if. And what comes after the word if is a number is divisible by 4. So that would be the correct answer. The number is divisible by 4. This question is, what is the conclusion of this conditional statement? The conclusion comes after the word then. If a person is a scientist, then he or she must be good at math. What comes after the word then? He or she must be good at math. So of these two answers, there's the one, the person must be good at math. These kind of problems are a little trickier. They want to know what is the hypothesis in this statement. Tony failed since he received an F. Alright, so this is almost, I can't say if Tony fails, then he will receive an F, because this says he's already received an F. So this is if he received an F, then he failed. So if you know that something has already happened, since, because of, this is what we're going to use as our hypothesis. I know that you could say if Tony fails, then he receives an S, but this says he's already received an F. So it's almost written backwards. So our answer here is the hypothesis is after if. The hypothesis is something that's already going to happen. He's already received an F, so that is the hypothesis. Tony received an F. So you have to kind of be careful on those kind of questions. So now that you've heard about conditional statements, where do you feel like you are? Are you 1, clueless, 2, you kind of get it, 3, you know, but you're not quite sure, or number 4, you think you could teach this to somebody else? And yes, darn, that's the end of this lesson. Good luck. Go do your practice problems and then the assignment on IXL.